Tons of confusion around the supposed payroll tax holiday signed as an executive order. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to try to make sense of the nonsensical coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Cohorn Financial Group. Welcome to this channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Okay, apparently Congress officially recessed for the rest of August. No formal stimulus plan in place. Doesn't look like we're going to have one for the foreseeable future here. Apparently both sides are saying we are miles apart, and by miles I mean trillions apart. So I do commend the president. Stepped in last Saturday and said, listen, Congress can't figure it out. Here are, bam, 4 executive orders to help the American people. Was it a help? It created tons of confusion. Tons of confusion. I commend him for stepping up and trying to do what will help Americans. And yet at the same time, number one, I have concerns about the unilateral power. I believe in the balance of power here. And if you can't all get it done together, I don't know about just one person saying, no, we're going to do it anyway. And 2, tons of confusion here. Tons of confusion. There's 4 executive orders. We're going to focus on one. It's the one I'm getting the most questions about, and that is the supposed payroll tax holiday. So here's the thing. Payroll tax is called, it's FICA, okay? So FICA tax is 7.65% that you pay on the first $137,000 of earnings, of wages from your job. Not Social Security, not your pension, not dividends, not capital gains, earnings from your job. You pay 7.65% on the first $137,700, okay? And that amount increases every single year. That 7.65% your employer also pays, okay? So it's actually a 15.3% tax. You only see half of it. Your employer, out of the goodness of their heart, it's required by law actually, pays the other half, all right? Now, of that 7.65 on both sides, 6.2 of that goes to fund the Social Security system, okay? And 1.45 goes to fund Medicare. Just so you know, once you earn above this $137,700, the 6.2 Social Security part stops, but you continue to pay the 1.45 Medicare part, and that there's no limit on that, all right? So that's what the payroll tax is. President Trump, in the executive order, he's actually been politicking literally for a payroll tax holiday to be part of the stimulus plans. Neither the HEROES Act from the House or the HEALS Act from the Senate had a payroll tax in it. So no surprise, if he was going to take some authority here, no surprise that he would say payroll tax holiday. So here's the deal. The executive order said for those making less than $4,000 bi-weekly, so approximately less than $104,000 a year, the executive order said there's a payroll tax holiday. Employers no longer have to withhold the Social Security portion of the payroll tax. That's 6.2%. Therefore, your take-home pay would go up by 6.2%. That is meaningful. I could use a 6% raise, right? I'm sure you could as well. But the executive order did not forgive the tax. It did not eliminate the tax. It just said employers can stop withholding it. Therefore, the tax is still due. The tax is still due, and yet it's just not being withheld from you. Apparently, employers are now wondering, what in the world are we supposed to do? And many of them, like ours, we're waiting on some interpretation from the IRS. Of course, all of these executive orders have been deemed unconstitutional, and there's a lot of, bashing and name calling and all sorts of, adult, mature things going on. But we're just waiting and seeing, okay? And if the IRS doesn't come out with some great clarity here, your employer really has the choice of continuing to withhold this 6.2% from your paycheck, or by executive order, they could stop withholding it. And if the tax is never forgiven, because the president is just hoping Congress will forgive it later, in fact, he even promised that if he's reelected, he will forgive the tax. But if it's not forgiven, then your employer could withhold double in the future. or somehow withhold this lump sum from a paycheck of yours in the future. That would be disastrous. That would be disastrous. The average person, and I wouldn't even say average, the vast majority of people cannot go 1 week without a paycheck. It's going to be a struggle for anyone. And to all of a sudden have this payroll tax that wasn't being withheld all taking a chunk right out of one of your paychecks, that would be disastrous for the economy. So what do you do? Well, I think we're all waiting on employers to determine whether they're going to follow through with this or not, and I think they're waiting on the IRS. If your employer stops withholding this 6.2, don't spend it. Don't spend it. If you see your take-home pay go up because this tax is not being withheld, please, I'm begging you, just set it aside in a savings account until we know for sure that this tax is wiped out, that the tax is terminated, that it's not going to be due at a later date. Part of the confusion was, as Trump was sort of campaigning about this idea, saying it was a big help and so on, he used some words like terminating the tax or getting rid of the tax completely. And people that don't necessarily love this president, I have taken that to say he's trying to get rid of the payroll tax completely, and that's going to bankrupt your Social Security and all sorts of things. I do not hear that. I do not hear him saying we're going to get rid of it for good. He's talking about, in my opinion, and others have sort of backed this up, that he's talking about that the tax that employers don't withhold if they follow through on it, the plan is he's hoping to eliminate that completely, and you won't have to pay it back. But I wouldn't trust it yet until the IRS verifies it. And so if your employer doesn't stop withholding this, if they just continue withholding the 6.2, don't get mad at them. Okay, they're waiting for clarity. If they do stop withholding the 6.2 and your take-home pay goes up, save it. Save it, save it, save it. Just look at your 2 latest pay stubs and find out, okay, how much extra did I see in my paycheck right now because it wasn't withheld, and just slide that over into a savings account. Don't leave it in your checking. It's very easy for money to go missing from there. Very easy. I'm not talking about identity theft. I'm talking about late night purchases or impulse purchases. Money just flies out of checking accounts, okay? Slide it over to a savings account and just set it there, all right? As always, talk to your certified financial planner to make sure you've got the right systems in place to set dollars aside and to manage your monthly income, all within a budget. We call it our 3-bank account system. Extremely, extremely helpful and valuable during this time of confusion. All right, so reach out to your CFP. If you don't have one, you can contact ours on our team. Find us online, corehorn.com or wisemoneyshow.com, or you can send us an email, info@corehorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.